Commander 7602. Starting off this list of book heroes will be Romeo from Romeo and Juliet, which really doesn't sound like it doesn't count because it's a play. But here's my 2 cents on Romeo's character, or backstory of the book. Basically, the backstory of it is it's about these two families, the Montagues and the Capulets. They can't get along with each other. And they're all like, we hate you, you hate us. Let's get together and hate each other, or beat the living crap out of each other. Well, not so likely. The prince, Ascalius, is all like, dude, you need to chill out. If you start another fight, I'm gonna kill you guys. I'm gonna kill all of you, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. So basically, the Capulets are all like, let's throw a party. And everybody's invited. Anybody, meaning Montague. So here we got Romeo, who apparently suffers from unrequited love. In other words, he's not loved back. And why? His last girlfriend, Rosalind, didn't want to, you know, have sex with him. So he's all like, oh, life sucks and everything. I mean, Benvolio is one of my favorite characters in the book, actually. Benvolio is one of my favorites. Him and Mercutio are like 2 of my favorite characters. But basically, this whole story. Anyways, back to that whole Romeo thing. Basically, Romeo goes to the party and meets Juliet. They both fall in love with each other, and they are madly in love with each other. Basically, later on, a few stuff happens. Romeo fights Tybalt, kills Paris, kills himself, and then Juliet kills herself, and then everybody's like, oh, yeah, end this feud. What I see here is basically this. The power of love can give him strength to do anything. Basically, the power of love gave him the strength to kill Tybalt, and it gives him the strength to kill Paris, and it gave him the strength to run. This reminds me of something. It reminds me on the lines of Sailor Moon. The power of love is like the answer to everything, actually, not show. The power of love. Not saying that I hate it, but, it's kind of the answer to everything. In Romeo's case, it's all like he has to do what he has to do for love. And he killed Tybalt in self-defense, and I guess I could just say he flat out murdered Paris, just because he was gonna, marry Juliet, so Romeo's like an anti-hero. That's why he's high on the list. Next on my list will be Johnny from Johnny Tremaine. When I read this book, come on, I got bored. Come on, set in the American Revolution. Basically, Johnny was like this blacksmith, and he's working on something. He works on a lot of blacksmithing stuff for the Tremaines. Now, one day, one of the kids, I forgot his name, places a broken crucible in there, and all the hot wax spilled everywhere, and it burned Johnny's hand, fusing his thumb and forefinger together. Now, he's like, I can't do anything anymore. I'm useless and everything. I'm like, on this line, he was so prideful. His pride and ego actually overshoots Vegeta. Not Kaiba's. Kaiba's ego is kind of out there, man. But later on, he finds out he's royalty, like he's part of this family called the Lights. And what's pretty funny was the reaction to Jonathan Lights when he finds his cup. Anybody's reaction to, when they find their long-lost person, they're like, oh my gosh, you really are somebody I know. This is his reaction. You stole my cup. You broke in my house. You stole my cup. I'm going to call the cops. Wow, good job. But all in all, Johnny was able to, protect his family. Both of them. Oh, and found out that the girl he had a crush on was actually his aunt. That's really sad, dude. I'm sorry, but that's sad. He's pretty high on the list as well. And teaches you pride goes before a fall. Next will be George and Lenny of Mice and Men. This book is pretty good. The heroes are basically George and Lenny and the other characters who work on the ranch. Basically, but George and Lenny have this bond. It's like a brotherly bond. George is basically the smart one, and Lenny's the strength. George is the brain and Lenny's the brawn. Well, Lenny is kind of, it's mentally, we're kind of retarded somewhat. And back then, you couldn't get a job if you were retarded. So George makes up this statement oh yeah, he got kicked by a horse when he was younger, so it's okay. He's able to work. Now, things go from bad to worse. With one, let's see, Lenny crushes Curly's hand to oblivion. Well, he didn't kill it, destroy it, but he wrecked it. Let's see, he killed a puppy and he killed Curly's wife at the end. I mean, even the ending was kind of sad because George had to kill Lenny. It's not like it was his choice. I mean, well, he kind of made the choice to do it. It's just he feels like it's like too much. He can't live without like that whole issue of killing things because he touches them. Well, I mean, they're kind of heroes to me in my heart. So, George and Lenny is on this list, not that high. Next will be the Children of Prophecy or the Percy Jackson characters. Most likely the book characters, not the movie ones. Basically, I mean, to overcome the odds of being a demigod and being dyslexic, meaning you can read Greek stuff, is pretty fun. Now, it's kind of like overcoming the. Like, when I say overcoming the odds, I mean, it's set in modern time. This is not a story that takes place in ancient Greece. I mean, this takes place like we're in like New York, and like the gods live in New York, and like the gods blend in. They're like normal people. Well, in their true form, they're like 20 feet tall. And it's all pretty nice. Basically, the story is about Percy Jackson and his adventures with his friends Annabeth Chase, Grover Underwood, Tyson, his half brother the Cyclops, Bianca and Nico D'Angelo, and other mortal acquaintance Rachel. Oh, and Mr. Burnham, who's actually a centaur. Never mind. The half-man, half-horse thing. About to say Minotaur, gosh. Well, these guys are kind of true heroes of the action kind. These are not heroes that actually belong in my place at number one. Is number one? Who can really top Percy Jackson and the other entries on my list? Glad to say, number one is most doubtly beyond a shadow of a doubt, Melinda, or Melinda Sordino from Speak. I know Melinda doesn't have superpowers or anything. She went through hell, apparently. Like Dante's Inferno, she went to hell and back. Her story was she gets raped at a party, and she calls the cops. Now, everybody's all like, we hate you because you called the cops. My brother got arrested because of that, yada yada. And Melinda is like in a catatonic type state. She doesn't want to speak. Now, the one thing she feels like she can express herself in is art. And throughout the novel, she is actually forced to draw a tree and make it like better as the year goes on. Now, as time goes on, Melinda kind of draws her tree differently. She draws the tree like destroyed. Then she draws the trunk. Then she slowly draws the tree. But then every time she gets good with her tree, there's something there that actually takes it down. Now, who am I talking about? The main villain of this book is Andy Evans. I won't get into his kind of villainy. And basically, back to Melinda's character, she doesn't want to speak. Everybody hates her. One teacher hates her, actually. This one teacher named Mr. Neck hates her completely. And the only person that seems to understand her, or the only three people that can understand her, are Mr. Freeman, Ivy, and David Petrakis. Nobody else understands her. Not even Rachel or Raquel won't believe her when she says she gets raped. Now, that's kind of saying, if you get raped and you tell somebody that and it's actually turned out to be their boyfriend, chances are the 10 to 15% they won't believe you. Because obviously it's going to go with the whole jealousy thing. It's going to go to their head, apparently. Now, I would go and make a list of book villains, actually. I actually just want to talk about, like, a few book villains that kind of stood out to me. So, be on the lookout for that. For now, Knight Rider 7602 signing out. See you in a few minutes.